4 more years after this.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Hopefully this meeting will be short.
This is something?
Yes, I'm assuming Ms. Carnival is not going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I know her, yeah, sure.
But I would like to get it called to order since we can move on with new business. We don't have any old business really to discuss. The only thing that we've been working on so far was, of course, the plaza, and the borough was so gracious to cut down the trees that were diseased, the 2 trees. So I've noticed that since those trees have been cut down, those rose bushes are really starting to pop up, along with some of the other plantings.
Did they grind out the stumps?
I'm sorry?
Did they grind out the stumps?
They did not grind down
No
the
grinder.
stumps, no. But that's okay. Debbie and I have been going down along with Justin to water the grounds. So thank you, Justin. And as far as new business, Debbie and I have been in contact with, actually Senator McElhenney reached out to Debbie. He has 50,000 bulbs. It's part of the Bulbs for Bucks.
Yeah, it's not Bulbs for Bucks, that's the second one, but it's a beautification that they do up in Doylestown, Bucks County area. I thought it was Bulbs for Bucks too, I don't believe it is. He has, he works with a group up there that does plantings along your roadways and stuff. So he has a guy that plants every year somewhere in Bucks, 50,000 bulbs. So he knew we had a beautification committee this year. And so he sent me a message and said, hey, can you guys use 50,000? I said, are we planting them?
I was gonna say, this guy plants them.
He plants them.
Wow.
This guy plants them, yes. He'll do the planting, so you're getting the free plants to beautify where you want it to be. Sounds like a lot, but you think about how many of those little bulbs are, and if you ever go along your
On the
roadways.
dike?
Yeah, so that's the thing, he wants us to get back to him, which I told him we had the meeting this week, and if anybody has an idea of, usually it's a park area, open space area, somewhere that can accommodate 50,000 bulbs, but how cool is that in the spring to have those bulbs come up, you know, they're pretty.
Will they all be in the same area, or are they broken up?
I haven't asked him that. I would imagine it's usually in one area, but I think in our case, because we wouldn't have maybe one large, I was going to ask if it could be broken up maybe in two different areas. And that might not be a problem. I can talk to the senator about it. He just, like I said, sent me a quick text and said, talk to Danielle, anybody else, and then get back to me and let me know if you like the bulbs this year. And I said to Danielle, I said, it's a shame that the historical park isn't ready to go, because that would have been a perfect spot as open space to put 50,000 bulbs to come up in the spring, because it's almost like a terraced effect on that ground, and you could do some really nice cool plantings up there. But I thought if we at least have a contact with this guy, then in the future that gets done. That'd be nice to have them added, since they're coming free and labor to put them in. So if anybody has an idea, you know, let us know if you can.
My first thought was the hill at the park, the Dyke Hill.
Like, yeah, like,
Planting the bulbs there, I just thought would be pretty.
ivy has to be completely removed and gone.
Oh, there's the poison ivy. Is it all along that hill, the poison ivy, or is
A
it
lot
just
of
in a
spots.
specific spot?
There's some spots. Yeah.
Just some spots.
And then you can't use spray anymore, so it'll have to be maintained, weeded when needed.
Yeah.
You can't spray now to kill the bulbs.
Yeah.
You have to watch what you're planting on the dike because of it being a flood safety force, you know, kind of finding out what you're planting.
You know,
Talking about
the
dike
hill.
itself.
No, not the dike itself. The hill that faces the inside of the park.
Okay, the inside part.
Yeah, the inside part of the park.
Actually up on the hill itself, or just along the ground?
I would think on the hill itself, but then you have, when they go and mow, it won't work. Because
Yeah, they're gonna mow it.
they would just mow it.
I'm gonna move it over.
Yeah.
Another place that was mentioned, and same thing, you probably couldn't use 50,000 of them, is down by the Actors Net. Mike had mentioned, which isn't a bad idea, because they're now, I know that the EDC is redoing the platform building that's up there. I guess someone's looking into maybe putting something there, which would be kind of cool. They were also cleaning up that ground area alongside of that hill. And there's nothing there on where that bathroom area is and the Actors Net. And part of that is, of course, the DNL contacted and said, listen, we're gonna get these bulbs, we're gonna plant them in that area, would you mind if we did them? Because the Bulbs for Bucks does plant along the canal, so I'm
Right.
sure if we contact them, they'd be more than happy to let you do that, to beautify it. That's an idea. Whether you could accommodate 50,000 of them, I don't know. So,
I can't even visualize 50,000 bulbs where they, it's a lot.
it's a lot of bulbs,
It's a lot of bulbs, yes.
a lot of planting. But I thought it was a cool idea. I was, you know, surprised when he sent the message to me, so I thought, well, that's neat. Yeah.
It would be pretty if we were able to
Justin, you
break
feel
up
like
some of
dog-
those bulbs,
Do a couple areas.
you
and
feel
do
like
a
dog
couple
park?
areas.
It's outside the fence, the
because I also,
ground cover and.
I spoke with a person from Amtrak, and the area of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania where it has the nose spray, they said that they have no problem with residents or a committee taking care of that spot. They really don't care. They've always liked the fact that they haven't, had to maintain that.
You're talking about to the right, not where the plants are.
Correct,
now.
not where the plants are now, to the right where the cherry tree is and the no spray sign is.
I don't know, we went down last year, is there an invasive plant now, looks like it's taken over, like we have
From
the
my
plaza?
understanding, last year they pulled out all the invasive.
It's back. That's what sprung up here. We got what we could out of there. If you missed some roots and stuff in there, those things, that's how they spread is by the roots coming out.
Yeah.
We did, but it
But I mean,
unfortunately
if
probably
we
needs to be
did-
pulled, raked.
Yeah.
If we were able to pull enough people together, just like we did at the plaza, and lay down the barrier,
I thought they did that, they didn't do that?
they did not. Last year,
No,
they
it was
did
not
not want to
planned.
do that because there were some people that had said that some people may slip while they were doing it. So they chose not to do that, and then therefore you have all the weeds now that have since popped up on that side. But Amtrak really doesn't, they don't care. They're perfectly fine with someone maintaining that area, so I thought maybe if there's a way to take some of those bulbs and plant them over there, and then this way we would just weed it, barrier it, mulch it, put the bulbs in, and then come spring, we would have all the bulbs popping up.
That could accommodate probably quite a few bulbs, if you think about it.
Would they be willing to, since they're saving money and labor on maintaining,
Bump
kicking
up
in
some money.
a small donation to buy some supplies?
Yeah, I would
I
think.
can contact them and ask them.
I
I
was
mean, if they're saving from having to go down there and do
Right.
work, I mean, they're supposed to be taking care of it, but they're not.
right.
So to benefit them, maybe the outreach and it looks favorable to them now if they were to, to cover the mulch or
Well,
something.
Why don't you contact them and tell them that the beautification committee will take that on, and what we would like to do down there, and what they could offer for a donation to help with some of the supplies. You're gonna need mulch down there, you're gonna need different things down there,
Right.
and see what
Hear
they,
that?
The only problem we run into that it only costs them probably $10 extra to spray it, what they're gonna spray it with, if they were to spray it.
It says there's sprays, they can't spray, so
Well, they got the sign from their thing, that's probably for their people, they probably put that there for their people, to say, hey, no spraying while you're out here, but
Yeah, they
in
don't
reality,
right, they don't spray that area because one, the
Yeah.
cherry tree is there, and however many years ago that cherry tree was put in, that's when they automatically assumed whoever initially started that, I think it was maybe Morrisville first, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that somebody had initially started that project at those two spots, so they automatically assumed that those same people were taking care of it. But as we know, sadly, Morrisville First is no longer, and so that's why they don't spray there, because if they did, then that cherry tree would obviously die.
yeah, but I mean, it's probably their sign, they probably put it in there for their people not to spray there,
Right,
so for that, I hope they do donate something,
yeah,
but in reality, they're, half public, half semi-corporation that,
right.
may not hand out a lot of money or supplies, but I hope we do get it.
yeah, can't hurt to ask them, right?
No.
What
Right.
you say is no,
Doesn't hurt to ask.
they're not going to,
Yeah.
and then we would
reach back out to them and see if they'll donate money for supplies, but that's something that, I mean, we can do, maybe in September, once it cools down a little bit.
Right.
I believe that's when you wanna plant those bulbs.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they plan on to find out. He just wanna know if we can accommodate him before he tells us about anything. He just sent that message off and said, can you take 50,000?
I think if we're able to separate
Couple areas.
a couple of areas, I think it would be fantastic. So this way we wouldn't, obviously that spot at Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, we wouldn't have to maintain once the bulbs popped up.
Mhm.
Maybe, weeding every now and then,
Yeah.
but nothing like it is now.
You'd have to, once they die off, you have the green for a while, and then you have to cut them down.
Right,
In order for them to come down and mulch them over.
right. And then over by the actor's net and the bathroom.
The only reason I think Mike had also thought about that is they're trying to clean up the whole area, it also needs painted, and there's nothing there. And you could really encase them with planted areas so they don't get mowed down. There is already a planted area, right there where you enter the path for the canal, by the bathroom building, that Annie was trying to put plants in there. So that would accommodate a lot of bulbs. You could also, we could make it around the other side to keep them contained in an area, but that's where an entrance for your town is too, coming off the Calvin Street Bridge, so how cool that would be to have a bunch
Maybe
of
coming
bulbs come
down
up.
both sides of the ends of the sidewalk too would be nice too.
Yeah, we could actually probably put a bedded area in, as long as the EDC said it was okay, and
Yeah.
put some bedded area to protect them from being mowed down. And that could accommodate quite a few of them over there, which would be pretty, be very pretty.
Yeah,
So I'll send a message off to him and
and then
ask
maybe even on the other side.
on the path itself.
Well, if you're
Where the sign
coming
is.
off the bridge and you make the left, you have those two corners there, but then if you make a right, you have that spot over there too.
Is it got any kind of barrier, so it's not?
I don't know if that side on the right is asphalt or not.
I'll have to go down and take a
don't know.
look. But right there where you enter, you figure you got the sign, you got the DNL sign right there. I know that there was mulching area, I don't know if it's got an edging, but maybe put an edging so that it's protected, and a bunch of them right there would be kind of cool too, because they're
Yeah.
in front of the sign. And probably along some of that path as you enter into the canal. Could probably accommodate quite a bit, and then maybe the other ones down there.
Yeah.
See if we can get them to do two different areas, and then we have to get an okay from the EBC. But I don't know if they would turn that down, with free maintenance and bulbs, and, they've been pretty good, so. Contact them and see what they say.
You may be able to, on a similar note, you may be able to talk to the bridge commission about doing it on their property, coming across the lower Trenton Bridge, or even at the Route 1 intersection there.
That would be great.
The great areas where you come into town and there's a lot of green space.
I never
What's
knew they
in that
lied to.
island that you guys put in off the Trent Mace Bridge?
That's
Is it
an
the areas
idea.
with the-
Yeah, coming off the,
It was all brick there.
which bridge is that,
You're talking about where you enter and come off right there?
the Trenton Makes Bridge?
Yeah, right to the, right where the guard shack is.
Oh, okay.
They got some green grass there, and on the other side, there's some open grass. I mean, if it were to cut down some of their mains of mowing, maybe they'd be either happy to install them, or at least let you go in there and put them in.
That's a great idea too.
Yeah.
Any place that's visible for where you're coming in and out of town will look good with that many bulbs all popping up, so.
It's a lot of bulbs, 50,000 bulbs, that's a lot of bulbs.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
But that's where they're mainly doing them. They're doing them on your roadways,
Right.
any of your islands, you're gonna see all that start to come up. I know, going up into Berks County where my brother used to live, same thing, all along your interstates on the
Right.
Grass Islands, they've got all natural plants coming up, which was, especially just for the, not only the look, but also just for, water runoff, it helps with your stormwater management, any of that, because it absorbs the water, so also looks nice. But I know up in, Upper Bucks, that's what they're doing with them, they're using them to just enhance a lot of your entrances and exits coming off of, different roadways up there.
I think that would be nice, especially if we can split them up.
All right, so let's see if we can do that. What do you think, that area, Justin, how big would you say, or how many do you think could accommodate that size area? Do you know how big that is offhand? Is it bigger? Could it accommodate all of them, or half of them?
On Lower Trenton,
Over by where you're talking about the Bridge Commission area?
the Trenton makes, I don't think it accommodate all of them.
Maybe
It
half.
depends. I mean, you could do some of them. You'd have to look at it and figure out a plan of,
Right.
do you want to take up the whole area, or do you just want to do a 10-foot swath?
Right.
for the.
I think it would
for-
depend on what the Bridge Commission would
Would
give
allow
us
to be in
permission,
there.
how much to
Yeah.
use.
And if you need, I mean, if you need use for more of it, you can talk to them about Route 1 interchange, that you could easily probably pay 50,000 there
Oh,
on all the different
different spots.
entrance ramps and exit ramps, it's a pretty big area.
Right, right.
I think it would be cute, you know, like a bunch just popping up in the center when you come off the
Right.
Route 1 south and north
Right.
entrances.
I think, to put it in perspective, I think maybe one of these tables might do about 30 to 40 bulbs. You figure once they bloom and they spread,
Right.
so one of these tables is probably about 40 bulbs. Just to put that into perspective. Yeah, 50,000 of them.
You think it would, I think it would take more than this, 40 for this area, wouldn't you think? Or do you?
Well, you figure they're gonna
Yeah,
spread
you
to
don't wanna
about that
put 'em-
big, right?
You don't want to put them too close.
Yeah, once they bloom and they have their foliage and then they have their, and then they bloom and they have their spread, they're gonna be about that big per. And you have a little bit of space between them, and you can, you know, you might get 3 per row. If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 4 maybe. And something that big, 8 by 3, 8 by 4 on the table this size, without them crowding and
Mhm.
it is, they're also gonna spread on the room as the
Right.
bulbs spread.
Right.
Some of them will actually come up and start volunteering next to them.
Mhm.
So I mean, you're looking probably like 40 of them at a table that size. That's not that big. It's what, 4 by 8,
Mhm.
a
right?
pretty
4
big
by
spot.
9, right?
All right, let me, I'll
So I mean,
contact
you
the
can say
back.
50
Okay.
at a table this size. 50,000 of them.
Like 50,000.
It's a
That's
lot.
a
I think
lot.
When you
Wow.
contact them, can you just ask them, you know, what they're planning, how they're planning, what size room? You know, so you get an idea of a 10 by 10 area, 100 square foot,
If you
how
run
many you
9,000
plan?
residents in this place with a 2 square mile, 50,000 bulbs, a lot of bulbs.
Plant them in everybody's yard.
There you go. Maybe you can ask for volunteers, people who would like bulbs in their yard. I don't know if it's allowed. I don't know what can be
Yeah, I don't know
done.
what the program is, he just says this guy plants them every year for him, all around Bucks County. 50,000 in a shot.
So maybe we'll reach back out to Senator Mulcahy, we'll reach out to the Bridge Commission and see what they have to say, and then also
EDC?
the EDC and the canal. We'll maybe reach out to all of them and see if they minded, and if this gentleman wanted to do the bigger areas that we wanted to do the plantings, and then maybe we as the committee could do the smaller areas like Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, maybe where the old ice cream shack is up top there, you know, in the smaller general areas, and see if this gentleman would be willing to split up doing it. I mean, I don't know how he plants 50,000
Yeah.
bulbs, but
Yeah, I don't know either.
God bless.
It's, yeah.
okay. So we'll find all that out. Madeline's not here. She did bring up at the last council meeting the different areas in town, that looked dirty, unkept, and I was going to actually bring up to her maybe doing a walkthrough of the different areas that she had mentioned at the last council meeting, and maybe taking some pictures and bringing them back, and seeing if there was a way that maybe we can get a group together to go and do different cleanups.
Well, I think one of the things you mentioned that I thought was kind of neat, and maybe we could even do it in a group or separate groups, to actually take a walk around the town itself to do an analysis of what needs to be taken care of. Because like we all said, it's more than just plants, it's actually beautifying the town and what it needs. And I think it would be a bad idea to have an analysis. I wouldn't mind for myself to walk around and take that documentation down, so we have, when we've got something to present, it says, we don't expect this overnight, but this, and this all needs to be addressed, and how do we go about doing that? And if it's something that we have to contact an entity that has to handle that should be handling that, as far as like now, it would be ground doesn't belong to us, which just happens to be in our municipality, like the railroad, anything like that. And said it's a matter of reaching out to them and saying, can we do that? Can we have permission to do that? Instead of leaving it just the way it is, find out where those areas are. But I really think it's a good idea to walk around and see for ourselves and take documentation of what needs to be done with
beautification isn't just flowers, it's
Right.
street condition, curbs, it's
Sidewalks, well, that's
You know,
not sidewalks, but
sidewalks,
you know,
it's-
maybe if
it's-
someone's trees.
trees, yeah, the
Popping
borough
up.
trees, are they pruned right?
Right.
You know, dead branches on need to be cleaned up and taken care of, you know,
Areas along the street that
Yeah.
maybe need, especially when we have such a high amount of rain, maybe the storm drains need to be, you know, cleaned out or they're stopped up or something like that, you
that's
know?
supposed to be part of the normal day-to-day operations of the,
Well, sometimes, you know,
So it would-
one
isn't
may be missed and, you
Yeah.
know, just pretty much being the eyes for them if
Mhm.
they miss one or two.
The other thing that might be a consideration too, and Annie's talked about it before, I've talked with her about it. Lower Makefield, you already all have their own garden clubs. Those garden clubs are a separate entity. They're not like a subcommittee of the council,
Right.
like we are. They can function on a different level and bring those things to your council for what they want to work on. What's beneficial about that is, like Bristol, for instance, started out with a small group, but as they grew, they got enough that they actually got a 501c status now. So they can raise money. They can also go to Home Depot and Lowe's and phone companies and ask for donations and help. And a lot of those companies are more than willing to help you. Daniel and I went to Home Depot and talked to the manager up there, and he said the same thing. We were looking for the edging and were they willing to donate, and he said they donate all the time. They have grants that can help with some of these things. They'll actually have people.
for now,
come out.
use Town Watch's 501(c).
Mhm.
Use our 501(c) to donate to,
Yeah.
or the fire department, or
Right.
something like that for now.
That's what you could do, yeah.
Yeah,
I really think that, I know for myself, I've gotten to really enjoy the gardening through the years. I think you probably get enough people, if you got a group together, that might want to do that. And it's something to maybe look into. And what they've done is, most of these towns have adopted these areas that they're doing, but they can then get the money that they need. They get the donations, and after a while, they've got a pretty big group of people now that belong to this garden club, and they keep expanding it. And this past year, when Danielle and I were down in Bristol talking with some people down there, they actually had Comcast. They'll come out and bring out all kinds of volunteers to do a townwide cleanup. So you can't get better than that. They had 100 and some people down there that showed up. They bought the shirts for them, the breakfast for them, the transportation, moved around to the different areas. Everybody signed the waivers, and it was not only town people, but it was volunteers who were brought in by these companies to help out. It's not a bad idea. So if you want to do a spring cleanup like they did, that's a way to do it, and pull a whole group, and then your local businesses that do businesses for town along with it, and start doing some of those things that other towns are doing to not have to rely on your growers for some of that
Right.
stuff. Do a whole town cleanup where everybody's involved in it. It's kind of a unity thing too. So you might look into that, seeing how many people, some kind of a blast out there, and just find out how many people would like to be part of a garden group, and then figure out what that garden group would do, and that's separate from us. You know,
Yes.
This council goes by certain guidelines on how we handle a meeting,
Right.
where it's not when you have your own private group, citizen group, that's a different type of a meeting. You know, so you can hold it when you want, as many as you want, talk about what you want with it in your projects, and then from there, then you would bring that to the council and
Right.
go over what you're gonna do, so it kind of works hand in hand. Makes it a little easier in some projects, so just a thought.
All right, and then our August meeting is gonna be canceled. We're gonna start back up again in September. Have a meeting next month.
Particularly a lot of vacations, and kids get ready to go back to school.
Yeah. And then in September, we're gonna be figuring out, putting the edging in and
October.
finishing off the plaza in October. It's just too hot right now to even begin to do that.
That got put on hold, papers and everything got put on hold.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
Yeah.
put the papers on
Ask about
hold
that
at least
tonight.
till October, and then this way that'll give us a chance to get everything that we need to finish that. I also need to, I know, I spoke with Mr. Gafkin about the low light voltage that needs to go into the ground. So I'm gonna reach out to him again and see if he found the paperwork that goes with that. So this way I get the proper lights to go flush into the ground, to shine up the
I was
statue.
gonna ask about that, if in the edging, we can work in the block, lighting blocks within the edging. So even in the evening and night, you define the edge a little
edges.
bit,
It's an
the
idea.
low voltage lighting,
Mhm.
decent
That
stuff.
would be nice.
Yeah, because you have the power on the inside part of the wall,
Yeah.
on both ends, where you can run that underground. That's an idea.
Just
shine
suggestion,
up,
decent lighting, I mean, unfortunately, this town, stuff's stolen all the time, so you wouldn't wanna put stake lights up, that could be easily
Right.
picked up and taken,
Yeah.
but if they're part of the block, they might not get taken.
Do the make block that has?
Yeah, oh yeah, be the same as.
They have the,
these.
they have the low voltage lighting that goes in your pavers when you lay out your paver patio. Now, I don't know if they have vertical ones, but we can maybe do something every, I don't know what they have, but it's something to,
We should look into
Check
it and
out.
see what kind of lighting.
I think in
it is.
one of our PSAV books, there's a website where we
Okay.
found
The planters?
the planters, yeah. Where we found the planters, they have what he's
Is-
talking about.
Yeah, the money is set aside for the edging, it's
Mhm.
just getting that timeline to get it in, so, and for the cement, just the labor, getting it in, so we include everybody. But, it's just, it's a small area that you're gonna be digging, because you're gonna be setting on their side, they're not that big.
you
just
might be able to
an
find
edge.
somewhere, even have a, small trencher or something, and you can do a couple passes with the trencher to loosen up the top 6 inches real quick, or a mantis. You run the edge, the cultivator through,
Mhm,
and then you just scoop out, and you go down 4 or 5 inches, do a couple passes, scoop out,
mhm.
pass again with a small cultivator real quick, and that cultivator, you can make your edges, you lay out your
Okay.
your edging,
Mhm.
how you want it to go, the shape, and then you just mark your line with your
Okay.
paint, and then you just
Your
follow
wire.
along with that with the mantis, something like that, a small
Mhm.
cultivator, it's, that wide of a pass, and you make a couple passes to loosen it, and then you can just take it right out, you can follow it
Justin
right
may
around.
have that in his garage.
Yeah, because you don't want a wide opening, because you're gonna set them on the side, you have to backfill that once you get it in.
Well, yeah, once you get your, but
Yeah.
one of the small cultivators is maybe that wide.
Right, right,
Make a pass with it, scoop out another pass, you get down deep, at least loosen it up.
right,
You have to hand dig a little bit, or sawzall or hatchet to
Yeah.
get root or something out of the way.
yeah.
That could make it go easily, and then you gotta make sure you set into whatever they want you to, as far as, I don't know, if it's a pea gravel or some sort of a
You should, yeah,
filing that you have to put in there to bed them in with,
right.
and then
You can put some of the gravel down there. When they did mine at my house,
Yeah.
they put a little layer of gravel in there, but then
Mhm.
they used post cement, and what they did is dry, so they put a thin layer of that
okay,
on the bottom, and then you wet it as you're going,
Yeah.
and it sets up very quick. It's just set your post,
okay,
and so then they set the block in.
nice.
That's what I'm doing. But yeah, that's the way of holding that in. So I guess what we can do is, figure out what we'll need for all that as far as the stone. I wouldn't be able to measure that and figure out how much we're gonna need, what kind of gravel. So we could, put that in and then get all that ahead. But,
Yeah, because probably by October, some of the plantings may have to be cut back
yeah,
and get ready for,
we're all making really start.
and get ready for, fall, winter season and cut back, which would be perfect because then we can not only lay the edging down, but then if anything needs to be cut back, we can do that also. Although the way the weather's going lately, we may not even really get a winter, so.
I was telling Danielle, next time we were down there, that, it'd be real nice to, transition it into the fall time too, as some of that stuff's gonna get cut back. Do similar, since we don't have one of those big pots yet that's self-watering, but to do what we did at Christmas time, and I've got the big terracotta pots, and put one by the, statue, and we had to weight it down with the play sand inside, and I could take it, it's too heavy. And then we had put the silk poinsettias in there, and it looked really nice, if we could do some fall time kind of look there. And, actually, my neighbors across the street, it's kind of cool ideas where they got them. Cement pumpkins. They had cement ones that are painted, and you swear they're real pumpkins, but also, you're not gonna take them away from these, go ahead.
No.
To just put one alongside the pot, just, and the same thing up on, we could do something to just dress it up for fall time for that transition, just to clean it up a little bit and keep it nice. Because it does look a lot better since it's been opened up. The one weeping cherry on the end, you can already see where
Starting to
it
fill
was
out.
being blocked by no light, is starting to pull towards the light, so it's gonna shape that out better. It was affecting that tree.
Good.
And the other one was really bad, it was really diseased, we didn't realize how bad that was. So,
You said Halloween pumpkin. Can we decorate down there for Halloween?
Let's see, why not?
I imagine you could.
Some ghosts? Something?
Yeah, just
Or-
like the
or-
stakes, like the ghost stakes.
Something. Well, something maybe light up silhouette things.
I think it would be
It
cute.
might get stolen. I don't think it will. That was well lit. But
You know, so you can
we
put
start
some
doing
photos on.
seasonal things
Seasonal
now.
things, yeah.
Halloween's a pretty cool thing. Then maybe for Halloween, we designate that area as a safe spot, and we have some volunteers hang out with some candy and give out candy at the Robert Morris statue, the square there. We have like a meeting point. People, let's trick or treat till 7:30. Then we'll shoot down there and hang out. Maybe find someone who's decent at telling ghost stories.
That sounds like fun.
I mean,
Like Kurt's volunteering
I know, right?
I can't tell ghost stories, but I will make s'mores and hang out. No, I could do that. I'll bring a little Coleman gas stove, whatever. That might be able, but just start doing those things to get people excited about what's to come. And if you go down and see the work that was done, you might get 2 or 3 more volunteers that go, wow, this was worth it. Maybe I'll hop on the next thing.
Right.
Because you want to remove any objections that could be out there to these things by having good things.
And then we may have more volunteers to do, the tree lighting and the decorating and everything
Exactly.
like
But
that.
if you make that a central spot for Halloween, and give out some candy.
A lot of towns will take their center spot and do like they call it a little witch's ball or something along those lines. So
I mean,
it sounds like
we can't have like a ball there because it's
No.
the intersection. But like that's exactly what I'm saying. Have some fun down there. Maybe someone dresses up like a witch,
Because
and
there
you have
is that,
Yeah.
that patch of grass right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that little
Also,
island
yeah, off to the
offset
side, yeah.
on the side.
Plaza itself.
if you know any people who are decent at doing makeup that could make someone look like a Frankenstein. I don't know. But if you make that,
need any.
I don't need that. It's 15 bolts right there, right? It could be something fun.
It'd be cool to do something, actually, I was thinking about this on, somewhere with the canal area at Halloween time.
Well, he already does the jack-o'-lanterns along the canal.
Yeah.
That's awesome too. It gets people down walking.
What if you did something with the kids though? They would be down near the canal area.
You do a canal walk, and you have also down at the square at Robert Morris. So you have a couple different stations set up for trick or treating along the canal. The red bridge becomes a point. You decorate that a little bit with some
Have them
jack o'
walk
lanterns,
down their costume like the old crazy.
costumes there, there's people there, and then they can walk up the canal down Robert Morris with some other people there with some more
Yeah.
community good. I don't know how big we can get. Just throwing it out there. Maybe it's something that could work out.
It's a neat idea. May bring, more people down to see that canal, use that canal.
Because don't they do the lighting?
Yeah, that's something traditional with the Arbor, they do every year, they do a contest. They bring in all the pumpkins, the
Right.
kids carve the pumpkins and they
Mhm.
put them all along, they light them for several days, some weekend, they do that every year, it's
Brother
pretty
and
big.
niece won a few times up at
I think that
the
would
Commercial
be really
Museum
cool
did
for
them.
us to maybe start.
They did a big one with the carving.
Yeah, just some kind of a project that brings them to the canal, or like you said, a Halloween walk for them in their costumes and have stations along the way.
Yeah.
It's a safe area, you never can understand it, just thought something different.
Yeah. Okay.
might get a loop.
So we'll discuss that. And I believe we're all done. Does anyone have anything else?
Like I said, we're gonna take on the other area down there by, the US one, and you say in September we'll do the cleanup on that, as far as taking it all out?
I think so, yeah.
On the other side too, none of that was done
No,
yet?
that's all fine over there.
Oh, somebody took care of that?
That's actually maintaining itself, believe it or not. That area on the left-hand side, might be some weeds, but I think someone's been pulling the weeds over on that side.
Okay.
And I know that last year, someone had gone down and laid a weed barrier and kind of like put it in,
Yeah,
from what I was told. I know I went down a couple times last year and watered,
yes,
that spot.
okay. So it's mainly to the right is where they're having the problem.
Yeah, that one spot where the weeds are not this tall.
Okay.
So it does look, you have the one side that looks very nice with the rose bushes and the different plantings, and then you have the other side that's just,
I'll have to ride down there, just needs to clean up there. Like I said, I think for us, before we take on any other projects as far as the borough we were talking about, is to get these ones in order. Plaza was a big one, it still has to be
Yeah.
finished. Now, like I said, that one by the railroad, and then we would transition to the fall time.
right, exactly.
Like I said, I really do think if we do that walk, we're gonna have a list of other things that need to be actually addressed.
But that's great, because then that gives us a basis for things that we're gonna be accomplishing, you know, throughout the year. I'd also like to, maybe, do you remember how we used to have the house decorating contests for Christmas time? I believe it was done through,
Did it just say Christmas?
they
Courier Times
did,
does one now.
Who does?
Courier Times, I think, hosts
Oh, do
one
they?
now.
For Christmas
But they
time?
had votes for them. I know they did. They do Courier
right,
Times.
but the
yeah, yeah,
borough
yeah.
used to have one. I don't know if it was run by the borough. I don't believe it was. I believe it was a separate group. Might have even been Rotary, not 100% sure.
I know they did one in the
that sponsored it?
summertime where you decorated for like red, white, and blue. There was, but they did a
No, I
contest for
remember it
that.
on Christmas, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
there
It was
They didn't do it
specifically.
last year,
They did not do it
but
last year.
but I remember a couple years ago, yeah, they
Yes.
were doing that.
And it was actually houses all throughout town where, you could be notified and, where,
Did you create your name on the list or something?
I believe, yes, you had to put your name on a list, and that list was then sent to whoever the people were that were riding around and judging
Okay.
the contest.
I think that was another Morrisville first thing.
Oh,
Was it a Morrisville
They
first?
did that,
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll contact the one person that I do, two people I know that did do that a few years back. But I know that they rode around to different wards for the houses that were registered, and they judged the houses. And I believe you got a ribbon for first place, second place, and third place. And I believe it was like a little gift card or something like that for the holidays. But it was something to, get people, involved in showing your community spirit. Because right now we need community spirit. Me personally. So we need to bring back the pride in our community. So if that's all, then we're gonna adjourn the meeting at, what is that,
7:40.
is it 7:40?
7:40.